Welcome back, coders. Today we are going to learn about arrays and how we can use them for coding in Java. So let's start out by opening Eclipse and our Hello World project from last time. To start, let's just type in int open square bracket close square bracket grades is equals to open curly bracket 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 and close curly bracket and semicolon. So this is an array. It is a one-dimensional array, or a type of data structure if you will, and is a collection of numbers. So an array might sound confusing, but think of it like a collection of things. Let's say I have a line of water bottles, so that would be called an array of water bottles. And in Java, an array can be a collection of any primitive data type, meaning I can have an array of characters, integers, doubles, floats, bytes, shorts, long, or booleans. For example, I could start by typing in double open square bracket close square bracket numbers is equals to open curly bracket 1.343, 3.14 and 6.80 close square bracket, and just like that I have an array of doubles. To access an array, you have to type the array name, then square brackets and a number inside the square brackets. So let's say I want to print out the first value of the array grades. I'm going to type system.out.println grades and then open square bracket 0 close square bracket close parenthesis and semicolon. Now the number 0 is actually the first item within the array. So in Java, arrays are always counted from 0 to whatever number you have. So in this case we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And even though we have 1 to 5, Java actually counts it as 0 to 4. Which means in order to access the first item of the array, you need to actually type in 0 instead of 1. And so in this case, if I want to print it out, I'll get hello world and 1, which is the first item in this array. Now what you have to remember is because Java counts 0 to 4, you cannot just type the fifth item. Let's say if I wanted to access the number 5, I would type in 5. That will actually give us an array out of bounds exception, which is an error telling us that we are trying to access something that is not in the array. So if I want to access the value 5, because Java counts from 0 to 4, I can start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now when I type in 4 instead of 5, you can see it actually prints out the fourth item in the array, which is the number 5. So to change something inside an array, we can use the assignment operator and set the array index's value to something else. What I mean is, let's just type grades open square bracket 0 close square bracket is equals to 5, actually 7. And so what this has told Java is to access the item at array index 0 inside the array grades and set that value to 7. So to see this in effect, we can type in system.out.println grades 0 close parenthesis semicolon. And now when I actually try to run the program, you'll see it prints out 7 instead of 1. And this is because when we originally wrote the array, we told Java that at index 0 there is a numerical value 1. However, in this line we changed the value at index 0 to 7. So the cool thing is that you can do this to any kind of array you want. Let's say I wanted to change the value 3.14 to 2.57, and I can actually do that by typing numbers 1 is equals to 2.57. And here what I've done is I've told Java that go into the array numbers, go into index value 1, which is the number 3.14, and replace that with the numerical value or number 2.57. We can also start now typing in system.out.println numbers, index value 1, close parenthesis, semicolon. And once we actually print this out, you'll see that now we get 2.57. We could do this to other values as well. So let's say I wanted to change, for example, the third value. I can type in index value 2, so 0, 1, 2, and you'll see automatically this gets changed to 2.57. However, you might notice that, wait, it's still printing 3.14. That's because I haven't changed it in the output. So when I do 2, you can actually see the change now. Which is one thing you do need to be very careful of, is array indexes. Because it's really easy to go out of bounds in Java. Whenever you're working with arrays, always make sure that the indexes you're referring to and the values you're printing out or the values you're using for other kinds of things, always make sure they match up with what you actually want to do. Otherwise, as you saw before, when I typed in 1, you might actually get a different value. So even though the value 6.8 is changed to 2.57, it still only prints out 3.14 because this is telling it to print out the item at index 1 in the array numbers. So far we have only printed out one thing from each array, or one item from each array at a time. But what if we want to print out the entire array? We can do this with either a for loop or a for each loop. These might look similar, but they are quite different. So let's start with the for loop for now. We can do is, we can type for int I is equals to 0, I less than grades dot length, I plus plus. Zoom in and open curly bracket, and the IDE is nice enough to generate a close curly bracket for us. And here we will type system.out.println grades, and where we'll put the index, we'll actually put I. So the reason I put grades.length here and we have to use I is this is something a little more into coding in general, but one thing that's very important in coding is to make your code dynamic. So what I mean by that is, let's say you'll say, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 5 items, so the length of the array is 5. I can just type 5 and well, it surely prints out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what if I wanted to add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I can make it, okay, I can make it 10, sure. But you'll slowly come to realize that if I have 1,000 items in this array, it becomes really inconvenient to do so. Which is why we can actually type grades.length. So by invoking this length method on the array grades, and so grades dot, or your array name dot length, actually return the length of that array in particular. So in this case, the length of the array grades here will actually be 10. And so if I wanted to add a couple more items, 15, 35, etc., it'll actually change, this value here without me needing to change it, which is known as making your code dynamic, meaning that if anything was changed, if any of these variables were to change, your code would still function and would actually just change the values it uses. The for loop itself does 3 things. It creates an integer I, says alright, as long as I is less than the length of the array grades, right? So here that would be, let's just shorten that down for the sake of simplicity, back to 5. So as long as I is less than 5, do this, print out from the array grades index value I. So it'll actually start at 0, and then once it's reached the end of the for loop, it'll do this check again. It'll say, is I less than grades.length? So is I less than 5 basically, in this case, and then add 1 to I, and then it'll go again and print out that index value. So 1, which we can see here, is 2. And so what you'll notice is this is known as making your code dynamic, as I said. For now, don't worry too much about it. Just type in your array name and dot length, because it's just a good practice overall, and it makes your code, it makes sure your code will work in a wider variety of scenarios. Now a for each loop works about the same. To make a for each loop, we can start by typing for int I full colon grades, and just like the other loop for loop, we can have a open curly bracket and a close curly bracket. In here we type system.out.println I, not grades I like we did earlier, and that is because this is just, it is a more concise way of writing this. So the nice thing is that here it automatically prints out the entire array, and for simplicity's sake I'll just comment this out here so that we do not get its output unnecessary, and we should see hello world and the array. As said, we see hello world and the array. Now the nice thing about a for each loop is that it does do the same thing, and in fact it automatically figures out, so you don't even have to put I less than grades dot length. It automatically figures out the length of the array and does the same thing as a for loop. It's just a shorter way to do it. To finish, today we have learned how to create arrays, access objects in an array, print out objects in an array and the entire array using a for loop or a for each loop, change objects in an array after they have been created. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.